So let's start. Okay, I'm going to get myself into a nice comfortable position. Always have a blanket handy and the strap and whatever you need for the stretches. So let's talk in, more doing and feeling and sensing. So with our check-in, hello Sue Gibbs, glad you can meet us. Pauline, oh key worker, I'm glad you've got away from work earlier tonight. Fair Blue, oh beautiful ex-student. So, okay, so first thing I would like you to do, and the checking in with yourself, this is just something you're thinking about inside of your mind, okay? Number one, just think inside of your head what brought you here to this space. Number two, name the emotions, just label them, that's it, without looking for reasons why, the emotions that are bothering you today. Just notice. We're just practicing noticing, we're not trying to change, we're not trying to judge, we're trying to distance ourselves. Number three, if your mind is a car, how many miles per hour is it going at now? Remember, this is our baseline. We're looking at where we're going to start, and by the end, we're going to see the difference. Number four, what is the quality of your breathing right now? Is it short and shallow and fast? But let's do a little bit of an experiment. What I want you to do is I want you to try and breathe from your top of your chest, contract your stomach, and breathe from your upper half just for a few breaths. Just notice how that feels. Oh, upper chest only, keep that belly contracted, don't contract the belly. Now I want you to breathe into the belly first, expand it as if you have a balloon just behind the belly button, keeping the chest fairly stable. If it helps, put left hand on chest, right hand on belly. So breathe into the belly first before you breathe into the chest, and just start to observe the breath with this deep belly breathing. This is called diaphragmatic breathing. It activates your rest, digest and repair. It dampens down your nervous system. Now in this practice I would like you to continue observing this deep belly breathing. The more you observe it, the deeper it gets. Now we're going to go into a body scan. So what I would like you to do, and I invite you to do, is to come onto your mats, come into constructive rest position. In constructive rest position, you're basically lying down on your back with your knees bent. You can have your feet as wide as the mat with your knees dropping in, just so that you feel as though you're not holding your legs and that they are not going to fall apart and that you're not holding anything in your stomach. And it also allows you gently your lower back to press against the floor a little bit, so it takes that tension. And just whatever feels comfortable for you, you can close your eyes or have your eyes open. Okay, so I want you to stay there in that constructive rest position while I come a little bit closer back to the microphone. And I want you to check in with your body and do a body scan in constructive rest. And I want you to start feeling down at the bottom of your feet. We're looking for the areas of greatest tension or charge. You're just noticing, you're just not looking for reasons why. Notice any sensations in your ankles, your shins and your calves, your knees and your backs of your knees, your thighs and your hamstrings, your hips, your lower back, your lower abdomen, your chest and your upper back and your shoulder blades, the tops of your shoulders, your upper arms and elbows, your forearms and your hands, your neck, your jaw, your brow, your face and the top of your head, Now I want you to come back to that place of charge, the place that you feel the most charge, and if it's very discomforting, just go around the edge of it like a pile of tennis balls. And I want you to find also another place of extreme comfort. So you've got this place of extreme charge and tension, and this place of comfort. For the place of charge, I want you to list as many adjectives you can find to describe it. Don't worry if it feels abstract. Try the best you can to just name it with adjectives and describing words the same thing. And then do that for the another place that you found, which is the opposite, which is an area of extreme comfort. And now I want you to pendulate between them both. And I want you to breathe into them both and notice the changes. So you go backwards and forwards, from charge to comfort. And imagine that your breath is like a laser and you're breathing into that area. Charge and comfort. As if you're swinging a pendulum back and forth, back and forth. Breathing into those two spaces, becoming aware of changes. If it's too discomforting, just around the edge. This is how we let go of tension. This is how we soften our bodies. This is how we become calm. And try to hold the same two places, charge and comfort. Try to hold them together at the same time, and an awareness of them both. Keep breathing into them both. And then just gently let go of your awareness of both of those two places. And then we're going to do our 4 things. Okay. So what we're going to do first of all is, these are my 4 things to help you feel grounded and present. Okay. And help you to deal with tension and stress. Whatever's going on in the mind is in the body. As Gabon Bates said in the realm of hungry goods, the body knows the score. So what we're going to do first of all is we're just going to shake out tension. Now this is really, really important. Peter Levine does it in his amazing book, and it's basically trapped tension in the body. We just shake it all out, and you can twist. Imagine that you've got water on your fingers and just shake out your head. I like to do this dancing, like crazy dancing sometimes. We're just getting rid of all that tension. We're all getting trapped in our houses, and that means that we're trapping the tension in our bodies because we can't get out. And if it sticks and it gets stuck, all that survival energy and stress can really affect your mental health. And then tapping little fingertips, tapping forehead, tapping face, going up and down, tapping, 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 neck. Little gentle fists on your chest as if you're Tarzan. Me Jane. Okay, and then tap down the sides of your waist, all the way around your kidneys, and then say to yourself, whatever place you're tapping, these are my kidneys. Down to my hips, this is my hips. Down to my thighs, this is my thighs. This is my knees. This is my inner thighs. And then just place your right hand underneath your armpit and just place your left hand on your shoulder and just squeeze and just hold. You can do this for any time. I like to do this for a long time. If you're feeling quite emotional. So the right hand is just near your heart, under your right armpit. It's quite nice. And just hold. And then you can start to squeeze. Start to squeeze your arms. This is my arms, this is my hands. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. It's just basically telling you that you're here. This is your grounding, okay? Because we're up in our head, we feel disassociated and light. You know, these are the things. And now we're going to do a little bit of squeeze and release, but we're going to do it with sound because we're going to innervate this larynx here to do with the nerve, to do with our fight or flight. So I want you to really squeeze your ears up to your, squeeze your shoulders up to your ears, and then I want you to make a sound, quite audible. Don't worry, nobody can hear you. Ha! Squeeze. Inhale through the nose. Ha! Squeeze. Ha! As if you're dropping 2 big bags of shopping. Inhale, squeeze. Ha! Squeeze. Ha! Squeeze. Ha! Squeeze. This mirrors your fight or flight response as well. You're releasing the tension from the fight or flight. It's all science. Don't worry, I've studied it. And then we're going to start doing our movement work. This is really important. Rolling, twisting, spiraling. We're getting the tension out of our bodies. We're getting rid of that trapped tension and anxiety. So get onto tabletop. Well, you want to see those jazz hands fingers. So we're just going to start with knees, hip distance and wrists under the shoulders. And I just want you to do whatever movement feels comfortable for you. Circling your head and your hips. Spirals and circles. And then in the opposite direction, just go with the feeling. Unwind all that tissue. Unwind all that fascia. Unwind all that tightness. And then a little bit of cat-cow maybe. You might want to do a little bit of cat-cow, head up. Or an exhale round. Inhale, head up, belly down. Exhale round. Undulating spinal movement. So what we're doing here is we're working with the spine. We're working with the movement of the spine. We're just nice little spirals to release all that tension where you know, your spinal cord. If you're into kidney meridians and things like that. If you're into Chinese medicine. Lovely. Lovely. Oh, just keep going and just do whatever feels nice. Oh. And I'm just going to turn around so you can see me. Lovely. Nice. And just do lots of natural movements. If you want to sit down and come onto your hips and you want to do some nice circles, so round your back, chin to chest, and then exhale, come forward, inhale, chin to chest and round, and just imagine you're scraping out a really big bowl and then opposite directions, getting rid of all that tension. And then if you want to just do some neck circles, we're just spiraling and just take it nice and slow, just feel all that sensation. Neck circles and then the opposite direction. Just go with it. Just do it. And don't forget the hips. We need to get into those hip joints as well. If you feel like you're doing, get your knees back onto tabletop and we can just circle our knees. Draw some circles with our knees. And then round and then back again. Get sticky and tight. And then the other leg, just get that nicely done. And then the opposite direction. So what we're doing then, the 4 things, my 4 key things is 1, shake, tap and anything. And squeeze and sound. And D, roll and twist and spiral. So now we're going to get into our deep stretch now. So I'm just going to check the time. So we're going to start with back into tabletop, make sure you've got everything nice and stacked. So if your wrists are tender and you need anything under your knees, Don't forget to get a little blanket. You can roll something underneath the heel of the... There you go. So you can place that so that feels a little bit better. Oh, sorry, oops, wrong way around. So like that a little bit more. And then we'll come into tabletop and we'll start doing our work. Lovely. So the first thing we're going to do is a nice twist. So we're going to do lots of twisting and lots of stretching and nice and gentle. So I want you to remember where your centre is your core. Focus on your breath and focus on your sensations of your knees, your shins and your hands on the floor. So inhale, take your right arm out and exhale, thread the needle. And if that feels comfortable, come onto the right side of your head and take the back of your left palm into the right crook of the waist. And just come back to that breath. Nice deep abdominal breathing. Keep focusing on the contact between your body and the floor. So if your mind wanders, your breath is your focus. And then take your hand down on the inhale, release, and exhale down. Left out, exhale, thread the needle underneath the right armpit, come to the left side of the ear, back of the right hand into the left waist, come back to that deep belly breathing, and the contact with the floor. Remember, the ground is there to hold and support you, to keep you centred. In times of uncertainty, to keep you calm and grounded. And then inhale, unwind, lovely, and then release. Okay, so then we're going to come into taking our right leg behind our left, okay, like so. So you're straightening it out, and then we're just going to do a little side bend stretch. So look at your right foot, so you're twisting towards the left. Just feel that sensation, just notice what's going on in the side bodies into the hip, contact with the floor and the breath. And then bring your right knee back, straighten the left leg behind you over to the right, and then exhale, twist, push the heel away from you. Just feel that contact between body and floor. Feel your abs firm. Focus on your core and your centre, and then release. Lovely. Excuse me with the glasses there. So what we're going to do now then with that upper body as well, we're going to do some nice seated work. So you might need elevation of the hips. So with elevation of the hips, you can sit on blocks or you can sit on blankets. That allows you to not curve forward. So it helps you to lengthen your spine, so you've got a good postural alignment with ears over shoulders, over hips. So we'll do our nice stretches. So if you've got a belt handy, I did suggest using a belt that you've stolen from your dressing gown, or smoking jacket if you're a gentleman. Okay, so we do some nice stretches here. Lovely. So interlace the fingers, flip the grip, push, 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 push. Exhale, round the spine as much as you can. Drop your head in between your arms. Really round the spine, and a lovely big inhale, lengthen left and right side bodies. Feel that extension as you reach, reach, reach. Keep the shoulder blades down the back. Feel your hands, feel your hips. Nice and where your core is, feel your centre. And then release. Nice big inhale to lengthen, exhale, twist left hand to right knee. If your neck feels comfortable, you can look behind you. Nice big twist. Okay, and inhale to lengthen and come back to centre. On the exhale, nice big inhale to lengthen, right hand to left knee, twist, chin parallel to the floor, spine long, lifting out of the hips. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, centre. Lovely. So we'll do some nice little bit of stretches. So you'll need your strap. Okay. your belt. So we're coming into Gurkamasana. Lift through the arms rather than the legs. So we take our arm up with the belt looped around a couple of fingers. Bend your elbow up towards the ceiling. Palm flat between the shoulder blades. Nice big inhale to lengthen as you pull the strap with the other hand. So you're going to feel that nice back bend, gentle back bend, stretch as you lift and lengthen. Try to keep the chin parallel to the floor. Come back to that sensation of your hips on the floor. Try to keep your bottom ribs in. Focus on your core. Focus on your breath. And then release. Roll that out with your shoulders, opposite side. Take it around. Bend your elbow. Elbow pointing up towards the ceiling. Grab the strap with the other hand. Inhale to lengthen. You come into a slight back bend. Chin parallel to the floor, lifting out the hips. Nice long spine. Chest lifted, collarbones open. Focus on your hips. Focus on your breath. And then release. Lovely. So we've done eagle arms, we did this before on the other night, but these are just like the key ones that if we keep repeating them, we remember them. Take your arms wide. So you place your left elbow on top of your inside of your right elbow, backs of hands together, or palms together, or fingertips around your shoulder blades. Whatever you're doing, inhale to lift and lengthen. Chest lifted, spine long. Keep that core strong, tucking them lower ribs. Feel your hips on the floor. Feel the ground supporting and holding you. Always come back to the breath. Inhale through the nose, out through the nose. And exhale, release. So we cross our arms the opposite way. Right over left. Backs or palms or fingertips in your big hug. Inhale to lift and lengthen. Spine long, collarbones open. Shoulder blades down the back. Feel everything underneath you. Feel that body supported. Come back to your breath. Only move into the stretch, never go past the point where there's discomfort. And exhale, release, and then roll the shoulders out. Lovely. So, how are you feeling? Just check in with how you're feeling. Lovely. We'll do a nice little neck stretch. Get right into the brachial plexus, the vagus nerve. What's still in Vegas stays in Vegas. Nice. Well, remember lifting out the hips, chest lifted. I've got my hips elevated. Take my right hand over my left ear, left hand to the floor, and exhale. Keep your spine long, chest lifted. Try not to collapse forward. Breathe into that area of stretch and tension. Only move into that area of stretch. Don't go past that point. Feel your fingertips against the floor. Feel your feet. Breath. And then release. Roll that out. Opposite side. Exhale, ear to shoulder. Just focus on the pose. How does it feel? What sensations can you feel? What do you notice? Try not to judge. Try to not to comment. Just sense and feel. Take yourself out of your mind into your body and then roll your shoulders. Lovely. So we're going to come onto the floor now. So you might need a blanket for your hips. We're going to come into some gentle back bends. So I'm going to place this where my hips are going to be. I'm just going to do a gentle stretch with Cobra. And then of course, Sphinx and Scorpion. Okay, so I'm going to come all the way down, feet into the corner of the mat, hands underneath your shoulders, forehead on the floor. The trick is to press your hips into the floor to elongate your lower lumbar spine so you're not causing any compression here. And remember to lift on the exhale, pulling your belly button in, nice strong core. You want to really feel the tops of your feet and your thighs and your hips pressing down. So exhale, lift, squeeze your shoulder blades together and your elbows as if there is a magnet between them. Really press into the floor, feel that contact. Tuck in those lower ribs, nice strong belt around your waist. And then slowly release on the inhale. And just relax into it and just let everything go. And then repeat. Again, press into the floor. Exhale, squeeze elbows together. And then slowly release. Make a pillow with your hands if that feels nice. Just wiggle your hips to release that tension. Nice deep breaths. One last time. Again, press feet and hips into the floor. Squeeze. Shoulder blades and elbows together. Keep that neck as an extension of your spine. Try not to knock your head back. And then slowly lower. Again, make a nice pillow with your hands. Press your hands underneath your shoulders and push yourself back into child's pose. Bring your feet together. Push your hips back towards your heels on the exhale. And if that feels comfortable, place your forehead on the floor. Come back to the breath. Come back to feeling the floor that's holding and supporting you. And now we're going to come into Sphinx, so we're going to come back onto the floor again. Feet this time, if it feels comfortable, it's up to you. I feel more comfort with my feet at the corners of the mat because I get my, I can get my hips closer to the floor and I can get that extension in my lower lumbar spine. So measure your hands, so like this. Measure them so your hands are where your elbows are. And so we've got nice wide fingers. Our elbows are directly underneath our shoulders. We're going to really press our hips into the floor at the same time as pressing our forearms into the floor. And as you do that, lift and separate your ears away from your shoulders and push your heart through your forearms so you come into that bend. Really press the hips, tops of the feet into the floor and really focus on that core strength and stability and the breath. So tuck in those lower ribs. Really important to protect that lower spine. And then release. Place your hands underneath your shoulders. Push back into child's. And remember to check in with your body and your breath as you come into this pose. Move into the stretch. Just notice how it feels. Just check in with what sensations are present. Now we're going to come into scorpion pose. So I'm going to come to this side. Now be very careful with this one. So if you've had any serious issues with your shoulders, probably not one to do. Like you've recently had a collarbone or whatever broken. It's quite a deep stretch to open up the front into the pec minor and pec major, here into this area. If you need a block or something soft for the head, do that. What happens is when we're very stressed, our trapezius gets slack, these muscles at the front get tight, the core weakens, the glutes weaken and the hamstrings get tighter. I've noticed personally how the anxiety, what's going on at the moment, is really tightened up my body. So excellent opportunity to release what's going on with the body. So laying on the floor, place your left hand underneath your left shoulder and your right arm is straight out with your wrist parallel to your shoulder. So this is the bit where it could be uncomfortable. Only move into the stretch, don't go past it. The block there is for you to put your head on. So you can lift the opposite leg to the outstretched arm, and you can stack both legs on top of each other, or you can drop it behind you. That's why they call it scorpion twist. You're using this hand on the floor to just push you off gently. So if you don't get your foot to the floor, just stack them on top of each other. So you're rolling onto the outside of your right hip. So we try not to do this for too long, to just notice the sensation. At the moment the sensation becomes challenging, or you feel like you're getting a strange fizzing sensation in your arm, because there's a little bit of neural lengthening involved, please come out of the pose immediately. And then release. Opposite side. Remember to be aware and focus on the sensations. Only move into the stretch, don't push past it. So you slowly exhale as you come into on the opposite side. And come back to centre. There's enough sensation going on there without having to cue into that one, because it can be a little bit intense if you're not careful. So what we're going to do now then, obviously, is we will need a strap. Anything will do as a substitute, as I've said before. So we're going to be coming into the hamstrings and the hips now. Very important here, because these are your fight or flight muscles. These are the ones that are twitchy, but we're containing that because we're not going anywhere and we're stuck in our houses. So what we're going to do is we're going to come into this deep hamstring stretch with the IT, TFL stretch on the outer bit here as well, and the inner thighs too. So come onto your back. If you need anything underneath your head or your hips, just grab a blanket. Comfort is key. So I've got my left knee bent and I'm going to place the strap around the ball of my right foot. Now, using reciprocal inhibition, okay, I'm not expecting, don't worry if you can't straighten your leg, okay, because if it's feeling really tight. So squeeze, pull your kneecap down towards your hips and really squeeze that thigh muscle at the front as you stretch the hamstring. So I'm flexing my foot. We're not looking for taking past that stretch, just move into that stretch, just feel it, whatever it feels comfortable. And then come back to that sensation of the breath, pulling in your lower ribs, feel your back and your feet on the floor. So don't lock your knee out. Tiny micro bend in that knee, especially if you're hyperflexible. Okay, really important. Don't lock it out. Or if you're like me, because you've got osteoarthritis, if I lock my knee out, I would never be able to bend it again. Which is why I do yoga. Okay, so what we're going to do now then, right leg's up, so my right hand is grabbing the strap. Okay, and I'm going to place my left hand on my left hip point. And trying not to roll over, keeping both my hips flat to the floor. Take this leg out to the side. So I'm going to straighten this leg a little bit. This will really help me to keep balance. But this left hand is stopping me from rolling over to the right. Very gently, keep flexing that foot. Really squeeze that thigh muscle as you take it out to the side. So you're moving into the stretch, you're not going past it. The moment you feel discomfort, ease back. Really focus on your sensations of your body on the floor again, and really feel that core nice and strong. This is your centre of stability. When everything is turning into a force, centrifugal force of at the moment where everything is just spinning, this will keep you grounded. Focus on this. This is your power centre. This is the sense of who you are yourself. So you're going to use that core really now to really pull this leg up. So really use your core, if you can, really use your core to lift that leg. Use your hand to help you if it helps. Use that core to come back up to centre. Left hand now taking over from right. And you're going to roll onto your left hip as you take your right foot over to the opposite side across your body. Only go into this stretch because you're going right into this TFL IT band stretch, and this is one of the most, this is the one that I call the gip stretch. It always makes me feel a bit, ugh, because my IT TFL is really tight. So don't forget to squeeze the thigh muscle, micro bending that knee, flex that foot, keep that kneecap nice and healthy. So you're rolling onto your left hip, just keep your shoulder blades glued to the floor so you're not rolling off. And then again, think of where your centre is, think of where your core is, use that core to lift, 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 lift. And then release. So we'll come into a nice Lapinasana stretch, so squeeze yourself into that nice fetal position on the exhale and just rock side to side and just notice how that feels. Just feel your back on the floor, that lower pelvic area. And then we're going to do that the opposite side, right knee bend, ball of the foot. Again, remember what's happening here. Don't lock that knee, squeeze that thigh. Reciprocal inhibition releases the hamstring, flexing the foot towards the face. Focus on the breath, focus on this centre of your being. So a deep hamstring release right into this fight or flight muscle here. If it helps, just rub it, just give it a little bit of tender love. If it's feeling a little bit tight, just rub into it nicely. And then I'm going to straighten out this leg. So I gently use your core strength. Where is your centre? Where is your core? Gently take it out to the side. Try not to roll off. Place your hand to give you a little bit of traction. Just to stop you from, I'm just going to have to stop you from rolling off. So we get that nice inner thigh stretch. Only move into that stretch. Just feel the sensation, don't go past it, no pain. If you're gripping, if you're tightening, you'll come to that reaction, you'll push against it. Keep squeezing that thigh muscle, flexing that foot. Now the tiny micro bend of the knee. And then use your core strength, use your centre. Really use that core, come up to the centre. And then swap hands, right grabs the opposite leg strap and take your left arm out to the side in T position and roll onto the right hip. Flex that foot, keep squeezing that quad if you can, keep your shoulder blades glued to the floor, feel that stretch. Feel that lengthening, feel that sensation down the side of the left side body. Just notice how that feels. Keep coming back to the breath if you feel distracted. And then inhale, come slowly all the way back up. And then release. Squeeze into fetal position on the exhale. See how that feels. Just rock from side to side. Okay, so moving on, my lovelies. So now that we've done a little bit of that, we're going to move into, I think it's Jana Shishasana. Okay, so with the Jana Shishasana, again, blanket under hips, nice elevation always helps to tilt the pelvis forward so you get that nice lengthening in the spine. And also as well, it's nice and comfortable. So with the Jana Shishasana, again, you'll need your belt. So, another hamstring stretch. Again, remember to move into the stretch, don't go past it. So I've got my left, sort of my foot inside of my right leg. And then we're going to do a little bit of back bend, so we're going to come into a little modified version of wild thing. Okay, flex my foot, right on cowboy. Nice big inhale to lift and lengthen. Firm quad, firm core. Inhale to lengthen and lead with your belly, not with your chin. So you're lengthening with a flat back from your hip crease. Don't forget to keep those firmness in the quad. Only go as far as it feels comfortable. Mark a bend in the knee. Really see if you can sense your hips on the mat. Keep that core activated. And then release. So I'm going to come, you don't have to do this, but it's just a little bit of a counter back bend stretch. So I'm going to take my left hand behind me, okay. I'm going to keep this foot here. I'm going to put this foot on the floor, flat to the floor. Nice big inhale, okay. And I'm going to come up and I'm going to, in fact, not foot flat to the floor, sorry, don't have the foot flat to the floor. Just nice little back bend, stretch, 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 as if you're doing a version of wild thing. Roll on the exhale and then inhale, release. Whew. Okie dokie. And then opposite side. Lots of hamstring stretches and hip stretches today. And psoas stretches as well. Getting really into the fight and flight muscles. These muscles that are really affected by tension, stress and anxiety. Again, flex that foot. Inhale to lengthen. Nice firm quads and core. Lift and lengthen. Lead with your belly. Flat back. Keep your chin lifted. Keep your neck as an extension of your spine so it's nice and flat. So no rounding. Lengthen, 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 lengthen. Moving into that stretch. And then release. Okay, coming into that little bit of the baby wild thing. Place your hand on the floor and then just lift, 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 lift. Oh, I think I did the same leg, say both sides. Crazy woman. I'm sure you've got it right. And then release. Then we're coming to the thigh stretches, inner and outer. So keep your blanket underneath your hips. So we're coming to butterfly. So we'll start with the one that gets into the outer thigh muscles and then we'll come to the inner thigh one. So you're making a diamond shape with your feet. If you need to, if you're really feeling that your knees are quite high up, you can always put some blocks underneath. So I'm creating that diamond shape. They can pop under here at a little bit of a diagonal if it helps. And we need to really lengthen our spine, nice long spine, lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. So our heels are away from our hips and then exhale, fold, lead with our abdomen. So coming into that butterfly. So we've got a nice flat back, nice core, just tuck in them lower ribs. Just sense your ground holding and supporting you. And then inhale to lift and lengthen as you come up and bring the heels closer in. So we're working on the in thigh muscles this time. Nice big inhale. Lift and lengthen, flat back, fold from the hip crease, lead with the tummy. Because if you lead with the head, you're going to round. And just move into that inner thigh stretch. If you feel comfortable to put your elbows in there to give a little bit of extra, pushing down. And just focus on that sensation, whatever you're feeling in this stretch right now. Just notice how it feels in your body. Notice the breath again. And inhale to come up. So we've got two options coming next. because we're going to do pigeon. Now, if you've got issues with your knees, please do pigeon on your back. So pigeon on your back, figure of 8 is this one. So my left knee is bent and my right ankle is on top. It's sometimes good to put a strap underneath the bent leg of the foot that's on the floor, and rather than bringing your head up towards your shin, you bring your shin using the strap to bring it towards you. That's the version of pigeon. If your knee is comfortable and you feel as though you will be fine, I want you to come into this version. You might need a block to pop underneath one hip. Come into tabletop, right knee to right wrist, and swivel that right foot around to the left wrist and slowly scooch down so both hips are level with the floor, so you're not rolling off. If you feel as though you're rolling off a little bit, pop a block underneath the bum cheek of the bent leg. So we're going to come into pigeon, which is a deep, deep stretch. And if you feel, you can lengthen first, inhale, and then exhale, fold and come onto your forearms. And if you feel very, very comfortable, you can get a blanket and pop it under your head, whichever feels good for you. Make sure that back leg is straight. Oh, it's been a long time since I've had some pigeon. Excuse me, sorry. Living on a farm, used to eat game, things that got shot. Okay, now wherever you are, whether you're a pigeon on your back or pigeon on your front, okay, you will need a block anyway, because we're going to come into a version of a double pigeon, which is a deep hip stretch. Okay, so very careful with this. So very, very careful. You're swinging that back leg, so you need to reach, come out a little bit. So I'm going to take this bottom leg that was in pigeon. I want the shin, flex that foot towards the knee, that shin straight, parallel with the front side of the mat, the block in front of it, and place your left ankle on the block for double pigeon. If you are quite flexible in your hips and you want to go for the full one, these are straight, not at an angle which is more lotus position. So we lift and lengthen, 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 and exhale, fold, come forward with a flat back, leading with the tummy, not with the head. You're going to feel that in the outer hip here, very deep. So check back in with your body, check back in with sensation and breath. Check back in with the contact with the floor. Keep flexing these feet to protect your knees. Only move into the stretch, never past it. Yoga is all about the balance between effort and ease. Okay, inhale to come all the way back up the flat back. Remember, you've got that option again. So with the other version, with the one on the floor, so the right knee's bent, left leg here, you've got a strap going around. Make sure your head is flat, neck is flat to the floor, and you come into that version, feet flexed. Otherwise, tabletop, left knee to left wrist, swivel your left foot towards your right wrist, scooch your hips flat towards the floor, make sure they're nice and level, back leg straight, pop a block underneath the left bum cheek. That helps you to feel as though both your hip bones, imagine they've got lights on the front of them. Nice. Come into that deep hip opener. Very good for sciatica, this, by the way. Gets right into the muscle that usually traps the sciatic nerve into the deep hip flexor. Not the deep hip flexor, what am I saying? Wrong muscle. So come back to that sensation, just notice what's going on, feel, ground, breath, core. And then when you're ready, okay, very gently swing it round. Oof. Okay, left shin parallel with the front side of the mat, so you've got a nice line to follow. Block in front. And we're coming into this double pigeon, so right ankle on block, inhale to lift and lengthen, fold from here, from the hip crease, flat back, neck in line with the spine, and only move into that stretch where it feels comfortable. Now what we're going to do after this very intense work on the hips, we're going to release that, you know, that deep stretch. So we're going to move into a nice psoas stretch. Just a little bit of windscreen wipers, because if it's been a little bit cranky and a little bit stiff after this, we'll just get to release that. And also as well, because we're going to be working on the main core muscle to do with the fight or flight response, because it's your psoas, which is connected to your thoracic, which is about T12, to your lower lumbar 1-4, which has a very intimate relationship with your breathing, your diaphragmatic breath, because your psoas muscle is a hip flexor that lifts your leg, goes all the way down, but it's also attached to a ligament called the medial. I can't remember the name of it. Is it the RQ8? Yeah, the medial RQ8. And that intimate connection means that if we can stretch that out, we can improve our breathing. And we can improve our breathing, we can reduce our stress response. And then inhale to come up. So working on that deep psoas core muscle now, that stress response, we'll do that now. So that psoas muscle is so important. It's the one where you use to kick football. So it's a deep core hip flexor. So come onto your back. If you need a blanket for your head and your hips. Feet, if you can, at the edges of your mat, knees bent. So it's like this, so it's quite wide, and to access this muscle, you take your arms into cactus arms where your elbows are in line with your shoulders and your hands are pointing up with the part back of the floor like so. So very, very slowly, windshield wipe, drop your knees on the exhale all the way to the right. And inhale up. And exhale to the left. So as you go down, you're going to feel that deep stretch into the psoas muscle there. Deep, deep, deep core. Your deep core line. And then inhale up. Just keep going backwards and forwards in your own time with the breath. Inhale up, exhale down. So we're just releasing the hips after those deep pigeon and double pigeon stretches. Getting deep into that psoas. So we're really working on the upper body today, which is great because we hold tension in our shoulders and neck and head, but also we can hold that tension in the hips and the hamstrings. So we have real areas and belts of tension. And then what we're going to do now, okay, is just let it drop to one side and just hold it there. Just hold in that stretch. Try to let your whole body get heavy and soften. If it feels comfortable, take your head in the opposite direction to the way that your knees have gone. And then inhale to centre. And then exhale, drop them all the way over to the opposite side, and then hold. and then inhale to centre. Now we'll come into the guided relaxation bit, folks. So I want you to spend as much time as you need to, not too long obviously because we need to start. You need to get all your materials together. So for this really important constructive rest, very important constructive rest, you will need as much pillows as you can get. I don't want you to think too much with constructive rest about the position. I want you to focus about the comfort, okay? I want you to really drop into it, okay? Don't worry if you've not got enough props. If you feel as though your chin starts to tilt upwards and your lower back feels tight, it's always good to have something underneath your knees. But I want you to have as many blankets as you can covering your body, because our temperature is going to start to drop now that we've come out of the now that we're going into relaxation stage. Socks is nice, so bolster for the knees. Okay, I'm just going to demonstrate the pose, but you can improvise and do whatever makes you feel comfortable. Okay, and you might need something for your hips maybe, just to get that extra bit of comfort underneath there. If you haven't got an eye mask, a flannel is absolutely fine. You can turn off the lights. So any kind of mask that this one's made, but anything that you use for long haul flights. Okay. And the key thing is warmth and comfort. So I really want you to spend enough time to get yourself into the way that you know you will not move for 5, well, it could last up to 25 minutes. If you want to set a timer because you're worried you might fall asleep, or if you're like me, you probably might quite like it. I've got a sign outside the door that says, do not disturb. So, however you want to be, you might even, if you've got 2 bolsters, I used to do this with my lovely 2 bolsters, you might want to go for a block here and a block here, and that allows you some lift. So if I, for example, are coming into this deep relaxation posture, you can have your knees wide with your feet together. I find with Yoga Nidra that it's best not to have skin touching skin, so your arms are away from the side of your body, your legs are slightly apart, and that you've got enough blankets on you to keep you warm, and that you are trying to practice stillness. But don't worry if you need to shift around a little bit, but I always say make sure you're absolutely comfortable, wiggle around until you get that perfect sweet spot, and then when you're ready, you know, you can lay perfectly still in the knowledge that you're going to enjoy the session. Glasses off, lights turned down or candles lit, and then you're just enjoying that experience of deep relaxation. So just demonstrate the pose there. Obviously I'm going to try and hold the space and practice more presence by directing the practice, so you can stay there, okay, and I'm going to take you through the guided relaxation in a position where I know you can hear me. Just settle. So trying to turn off my computer. So I don't know why I've got that on. Right. So, okie dokie everybody. So I just want you to notice if you can be 5 or 10% more comfortable in any position that you've chosen, and to be prepared to lie completely still and to be aware of where you are, the time of the day, before closing your eyes and reminding yourself that I am awake and I am practicing Yoga Nidra. Just remember that you're in a safe environment and that you can feel your bones. You can feel yourself release, sinking into the floor. So I'm just going to turn off the lights now. And I want you to think about calling back all the energy from external senses. And from all demands and all entanglements. And open your senses. Feel sensations inside of your mouth. Become aware of ears listening and with whole body. And feel the resonance of sound of the breath reverberating. And smell, welcome the touch of air inside of the nostrils. And vision, relax your eyes from the world of seeing and looking. Allow your internal vision to open. Notice the coloured images and shapes arising from the space in front of your eyes. And feel the skin. Feel the touch of air or temperature. Be receptive to the touch of the clothes against the body. Allow each perception and sensation to come to you as an openness, moving entirely from thinking to sensing. And become aware of the surfaces supporting your body and feel your body lying on the floor. Feel the weight of your body against the floor. Feel the contact between your body and the floor. Concentrate on contact between body and the floor. And feel the whole plane of contact at once, from heels to neck. One plane of contact between body and floor. And try to experience the whole plane at once. Now the eyelids. In front of both eyes, the upper and lower eyelids. Sense them touching each other. Feel those planes of contact between the eyelids. Again, the plane of contact between body and floor. It is neither the body or the floor. It is almost an abstract experience. Feel the whole plane between them from heels to neck. Then the thin plane of contact between your lips, between eyelids, lips, body and floor, eyelids, body and floor, lips, eyelids, lips, body and floor. The whole plane between body and floor. Now feel your body as such, Come inside the body with feeling and awareness. Feel your whole body from within, not just part of the body, the whole body, from head to foot. Nothing is suppressed, but your consciousness and your body is one. One whole body, awareness of the whole body, awareness of the entire body, the whole body, the whole body, the whole body. Experience how still your body is now. It has been lying still for some time. It is not moving. It is not making any sounds. Meditate on the stillness. Feel the stillness. Feel how it is increasing as you experience it. When you become aware of the stillness, you feel it more and more. A complete stillness in the body. But the body is alive. Feel warmth, pulsation. Notice it moving around the body. Notice the sense of the breath flowing in and out of the nostrils. And now it's time to set your intention for this practice. Plant the seed of your deepest, most heartfelt desire, whatever arises within you. It's a short, positive statement in the present tense, as if it's already happening. Contemplate it, imagine it, use all the senses to feel your life with the fulfillment of this intention. What is your life like with the fulfillment of it? For example, your intention may be, I flow through life with ease and peace. I am relaxed. State your intention 3 times in a language that is personal to you. Give thanks and then let it go. And now we will allow your awareness, your mind's eye, to travel through your body on a journey of sensation. Simply feel into each part as it's mentioned, and without moving remain perfectly still, but welcome all sensation just as it is. Beginning with the mouth. Feel your mouth. Feel sensation in your mouth. Feel your jaw, your lips, your upper lip, your lower lip. Notice where the lips touch. Feel the inside of your mouth, the roof, underneath your tongue, the upper teeth and gums, lower teeth and gums, your tongue, the root of your tongue, the centre of your tongue, the tip of your tongue. Notice and sense the taste in the mouth. Feel the right inner cheek. Feel the left inner cheek. And now feel all parts together now as a whole. Feel your mouth as alive with sensation, as energy, as radiant vibration. Feel your nose. Notice the nostrils. Your left nostril, right nostril, both nostrils together. Notice the breath. The nasal passages, and follow the nasal passages all the way down back into the head. Become aware of your ears, your right ear, your left ear, both ears. Feel the wrinkles and the folds of your ears and the back of your ears, your earlobes, your ear canals. Follow the ear canals into the inner ear. And notice your ears receiving sound. Listen. Feel your ears hearing. Feel your eyes, left eye, right eye, both eyes together. Notice the eyelids and feel each eyelash. Notice where the eyelids touch. Become aware of the surfaces of the eyes, the centres of the eyes, the backs of your eyes. Imagine your eyes now as energy, as radiant, glowing embers. Bring awareness to your crown, your forehead, your face. Feel your whole head. Feel your neck, the back of your neck, the sides of your neck, your throat. Notice your right palm, your right thumb, first finger, second finger, third and fourth. Feel your whole hand alive with energy. Feel your wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, the whole right shoulder. And notice the notch at the base of the throat. Notice your left palm, your left thumb, first finger, second, third, fourth and pinky finger. Feel your whole hand alive and filled with sensation. Feel your left wrist. Feel your forearm, your elbow, your upper arm, the whole of the left shoulder. And notice the notch at the base of your throat. Become aware of the upper chest, upper back, shoulder blades. Feel your heart centre. Notice your abdomen, the ribs on your back, your solar plexus. Feel your belly, your navel centre, your pelvis, your hips. Feel sensation of right hip, right thigh, right knee, lower leg, calf, ankle, foot, toes, sole of the foot, the whole of the foot. Feel again into your pelvis. Feel sensation of left hip, left thigh, knee, lower leg, ankle, foot, toes, sole of the foot, and the whole of the foot. Notice now both of your feet. Feel the root between your sitting bones, your navel centre, your solar plexus, your heart centre, your throat centre, your mouth centre, the space between your eyebrows and the crown of your head. And now feel the back body resting on the earth. Bring awareness of your whole back body as a sensation alive. Feel now the front body filled with vibrant sensation. Pour your awareness like liquid into the right side of your body and feel the right side. Pour your awareness like flowing senses into the left. Feel your left side. Feel your midline. Feel your body as one complete entity, feeling sensation throughout your entire body. Now, begin to awaken the feeling of heaviness in the body, the feeling of heaviness. Become aware of heaviness in every single part of the body. You are feeling so heavy that you're sinking into the floor. Awareness of heaviness. Heaviness. Awaken the feeling of lightness, a sensation of lightness and weightlessness to all parts of your body. Your body feels so light it seems to be floating towards the ceiling. awareness of lightness. Now experience cold. Awaken the experience of bitter cold in the body. Imagine you're walking on a cold floor in winter. Your feet feel cold. You are cold all over. Awareness of coldness. Now awaken the sensation of heat. Awaken the experience of heat. The whole body is hot. You feel hot all over. Recollect that feeling of heat in summer when you're out without little shade. Heat all over the body. Awareness of heat. Now, experience pain. Concentrate and try to remember the experience of pain, anything you've felt in your life, mental or physical. Recollect the sensation of pain. Now recollect the feeling of pleasure, any pleasure. Relive it. Make it vivid. Awaken that feeling. Notice, I am awake and I am practicing Yoga Nidra. Now come back to your heart's longing statement. Remember your intention from the beginning of this practice. Repeat it 3 times as the present truth. Say it 3 times to yourself. It is already happening. Now notice your back body facing the earth. Feel all the places where you touch the ground. Notice the front body facing skyward. Notice all the space surrounding you. Let your body expand wide into the space. Notice your breath. Feel its rhythm and its pace. And as we come towards finishing our relaxation, before even moving, just imagine that your fingers and toes are wiggling. Just feel the sensations as you imagine you're doing so. And now come back to your feeling and awareness. Come back to the feeling of your breath flowing in and out of your nostrils. Maintain your awareness of breath and at the same time develop your awareness of your physical body. Without opening your eyes, visualize the 4 walls of your room, the ceiling, the floor, your body lying on the floor. As if you are standing over yourself, observe the position of your body, your clothes, the container of your skin. Become aware of any sounds you can hear in this moment. Nothing else but what you can hear without strain. Begin to focus on the nearest sound you could hear. Gradually bringing your attention to sounds outside of your room, to sounds outside of your building. Let your sense of hearing radiate outwards, searching out sounds and following them, moving from sound to sound. Gently rock your head from side to side, a slow awakening. Gently wiggle your fingers and toes. Stretch if you need to stretch. If you feel as though you want to roll into a fetal position, bring knees to chest. Do whatever feels right to you. You may want to lengthen your spine. Gently use your hands to push yourself towards a seated position. The practice of Yoga Nidra is now complete.